In light of all this David Dobrik news, I wanted to make a video that was a little bit more topical. If you aren't updated on any of what is going on with David Dobrik or who he is, I can catch you up a little bit. David Dobrik is an influencer and a YouTuber who has a really large following. He has over 18 million subscribers on YouTube, and his social media reach is very, very vast. David Dobrik is basically one of these uber mega super influencers. He's an influenza-encer. Like the meaning of virality takes on a different meaning when addressing David specifically. He's been creating content for YouTube for a while, and he is very much one of YouTube's golden boys. And recently, a story came out from Insider which detailed an incident where one of David's close friends sexually assaulted a woman that they had cast to be in one of his videos. The story goes, David's friend, this guy named Dirty Dom, posted a message on Snapchat or Instagram or something trying to cast people to be in a video. And the concept was he wanted women to respond to his message so that he could have a fivesome with them. Which is like, what are we doing here, guys? This is the first detail in this story, and this is already like way off the rails. So anyway, he posts this message. These girls respond. They come over to where they're filming, and they inform the people there, which is David, his friends, and the Vlog Squad, which is, if you're not familiar with David, you probably don't know the Vlog Squad. They're just his group of lackeys that follow his every will, and they film similar vlog content as he does. These girls come to the house. They're all there. They express that they weren't actually interested in having sex with this guy. They just wanted to come to the video shoot so that they could hang out with David and meet these famous YouTubers. So, as the night progressed, allegedly, David sent one of his friends to leave the house to buy alcohol to bring back for the girls to drink so that they would be more inclined to have sex with Dom. Even though some of the girls who responded to the initial message from Dom were under the legal drinking age at the time. So, at the end of the night, Dom and two of the girls who responded to the message engaged in some sort of sexual act where at least one of the girls was too drunk to provide consistent consent for the activity. There's a pretty graphic description of the incident in the Insider article. If you're not familiar with the situation, I really recommend that you go check that out. I'll put the link to the article in the description of this video. The victim was anonymous in the article, but they said they had no recollection of the sex taking place the next day and couldn't remember anything up to the previous day when they had responded to the message initially. At the end of the night, she was so drunk, her friends, this is mentioned in the article, her friends had to force her to vomit because they were concerned that she was going to get alcohol poisoning and maybe die. She was clearly very drunk. Her friends said that she could barely walk. They had to help her get dressed. And there is a picture of them all standing in the lobby of what looks like this apartment building at the end of the night with David and the victim, who is leaning up against a group of her friends and is incapable of walking. And you can see that she's being supported by them as they're being maybe escorted out. Now, this all happened in 2017, I believe, but it's all coming out now because of the new Insider article. Now, David has finally addressed this and apologized to the victim in a video after initially trying to dodge all criticism and ignore any sort of news coverage whatsoever. And now he's even starting to lose some of his financial backers for his channel and some of his sponsors, which I personally think is valid. But the big issue here is that David planned to, or seemed to have planned to, completely not acknowledge this terrible incident that he facilitated until it began to touch his wallet. David set up the environment for this girl to be assaulted, facilitated the situation to where she got so drunk she could barely stand, and used the whole thing to create content for his channel. Trigger warning moving forward. Now, regardless of whether David knew or not that this girl was raped, he did know that he was setting up and orchestrating this situation under the guise of creating content for his YouTube channel. He knew if he got these girls drunk, Dom would have a better chance of having sex with them. And he knew if he set up the environment and made it feel fun, then they would feel obligated to go along with the circumstance and create content for his channel. Being a YouTuber professionally seems like a really cool job. You just get to make videos about things you're interested in, and you get paid to exercise your creativity in what I think is a really interesting medium. But the fact of the matter is, being a YouTuber isn't just being a content creator. It's building a brand. When you build a brand, you're selling yourself to an audience. That is where all the money comes from. You sell yourself, your personality, your content, and people buy that. Now, this isn't to say that I don't think people should be able to make money off of YouTube or creating content. That is not what I'm saying. I actually think that the YouTube style of personalized content is the future of entertainment. But it's important to recognize that YouTubers like David are similar and are getting more and more closely aligned to that of a traditional celebrity. Traditional celebrities and people like actors and athletes and musicians, they all build a brand and they sell it to consumers. David does the same thing. But things like this hurt your brand. And when your brand becomes damaged in the public eye, that costs a lot of people money. Companies like ExpressVPN and HelloFresh, companies that advertise through YouTube and will sponsor content, they see instances like this as potentially damaging to their own brand. So in reaction to incidences like this, oftentimes they will cut ties for a period of time, and then slowly, after all the fire dies down, they will come back and reintroduce themselves to that audience. They won't leave forever. We've seen it time and time again with the couple of adpocalypses that have hit YouTube in the last few years. The advertisers leave as a way to gain leverage over YouTube, but they come back because the value in the audience and the value in this type of content is so immense. These creators reach into the homes of millions of viewers, and every single YouTube viewer is a potential consumer. That's why this problem keeps popping up, and that's why as a community we need to decide where to draw the line. David will be back, and he will continue to make the content that he's been making for years. His sponsors will come back, his career will continue, and he will move on from this whole thing in a short amount of time. But what about the victim? I know it's been years since the initial incident, and the statute of limitations is probably past, meaning there is no way to secure conventional justice. That is being legal justice. But there's a bigger responsibility here than just getting legal justice for this victim. Justice doesn't just mean someone goes to jail. It doesn't just mean someone gets punished. Justice means that something bad happened and then something changed to make sure that it didn't happen again. But here, nothing changed. David gets to keep making this content, keep making money, and keep teaching children that it's okay to hurt people as long as you eventually say sorry. Why does YouTube stand by and allow people to get away with this? Do they really not care about the community on this website at all? Do they really just want your data and your money and nothing else? That's a pretty dark way of viewing this website. But what are we supposed to think? There are always these big changes made to the algorithm to protect vulnerable audiences like children, and steps being made to protect YouTube's profitability as a medium, but there isn't enough communication between influential creators and the actual devs and executives to create meaningful change. They pass sweeping rules to force people to fundamentally change the style of content they make. or leave the platform altogether. But these changes are not the correct changes that need to be made to help YouTube and the YouTube community. If YouTube is to save itself and protect its community, they need to make the correct type of changes. If the children need to be protected, more needs to be done to divide YouTube from the YouTube Kids app. And if viewers need to be protected from creators who manipulate and take advantage of them, then these creators need to be brought to some sort of meaningful justice. When influence goes too far, people end up hurt. Look at Pro Jared. Look at David Dobrik. Look at James Charles and all of his recent allegations, which no one seems to be paying any sort of meaningful attention on at all. There's something about the YouTube space that allows people to grow and grow and grow completely unchecked. And if YouTube is supposed to be the space where people can come, create content, and grow an audience and a brand, they need to have some sort of responsibility in protecting the users. People come here to interact. People come here to consume content. This is, after all, a social media platform. And the moderating for YouTube is so abysmal. They tried to create a process to let the viewers moderate themselves. Does anybody remember the YouTube Heroes idea? Just hire more people. Let them do the job that they need to do to protect these viewers. Draw a hard line between what is YouTube content and what is YouTube Kids content and monetize them differently. Cable has been doing this for decades. How do you think there's different advertisers for Nickelodeon on a SpongeBob episode and MTV on an episode of fucking Jersey Shore or something? There's different types of brands who advertise to different demographics. Just figure it out. Hire the people to fix your system. YouTube is dying. These communities are tearing each other apart. If YouTube doesn't step in to provide some sort of meaningful change for the communities here and the people who are getting taken advantage of, this will end very badly. It's just annoying to see this giant, expensive thing be mismanaged. And if the proper management was in place, maybe we could all have a better experience on this platform together. In conclusion, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And this current scandal with David is a symptom of YouTube's lack of accountability from the top down. I believe the future of media is personalized content like we find on YouTube. But if YouTube is going to remain relevant on this stage for future generations, they need to seriously beef up their infrastructure and protect the audience of people who interact and consume content here. Please look into David Dobrik and his predatory style of content creation. Please educate yourself. Please, if you can, go take a look at the Insider article. And please make a note of how this platform enabled David to rise up and abuse his power against his own audience. YouTube, I love you, but I know you can do better. And thank you for watching.